So, a lot of the mindfulness trainings, they don't really talk about the mind much. And so anyway, what we're going to do in this series here, I'm going to have to squash some of the sessions together because we've only got four sessions in November. So today will be a full session, and then I'll just have to, I think probably what I did last time was sessions 3 and 4 and 4 and 5. I think I combine them. So yeah, like that. So I think what I would like to do, all of you know me, I don't need to introduce myself. So anyway, it's very lovely to see you all. And I wanted to start with a sort of an explanation about mindfulness. And I think all of you have actually introduced some of these. So in terms of what is mindfulness, to be fully mindful is to allow ourselves to be aware of whatever it is that we're noticing, and to have that come fully to your mind or fully into your conscious awareness. And so in the Buddhist tradition, so this is where we are now, we're at Thupten Noble Ling, which is a Buddhist center. So this is my, this is the context from which I'm coming. Mindfulness is presented with 4 characteristics. And so the first one is without forgetfulness. So with mindfulness, our attention is able to engage with its object without forgetting it or losing sight of it. And the second one is depending on familiarity. So the strength of our mindfulness is dependent on how familiar we are with the object. So the greater the familiarity, the stronger the association our mind has for the object. And the better our attention is able to stay mindful of that object. So, getting back to without forgetfulness, which is the first one, if you have your favorite food, like chocolate, and you see it, we understand it, we see it. And I think the advertising companies are really good at grabbing our attention, shiny objects, delicious objects, attractive objects. So they understand this idea about without forgetfulness. So they grab our attention so we can engage on the object. And then we're presented it over and over and over again. So we become familiar with it. So what happens when you walk into the supermarket, you think of this particular brand, immediately comes to your mind. And that's where you go. The other thing about a mindfulness is the idea of mindfulness is to prevent distraction. So mindfulness serves to keep our attention from wandering away from its object. And with certainty. So when we're mindful of an object, we fully attend to it and we get to know it with a sense of certainty. So we're not attending to it half-heartedly or absent-mindedly. We're fully focused. And so we give our full attention to our object of mindfulness, which can be the sensations of our body, the words of a loved one, the feeling in our heart, or the thoughts that are flowing through our mind. So, we already possess this quality of mindfulness. It's a natural part of who we are. We have a strong ability to pay attention to what's happening in our life. And we need to appreciate its importance to our well-being and learn how to nurture and strengthen this natural ability of ours. So in a way, we allow ourselves to get distracted. And our breathing comes hand in hand with this as well, as I've been talking. So mindfulness is very popular in our modern society now. It's a kind of a term that's thrown around quite a bit. And it's, in the kind of secular world, the sort of non-religious world, it's associated with managing us reactions to stress and to difficult emotions. And it's found to be helpful since a lot of our problems actually stem from mindless, habitual, maladaptive reactions to things. You know, that when we're talking in the Vajrasattva meditation, how we have these habitual ways of doing things. And some of these habits may have served us in the past, but they don't serve us now, and they create a bit of suffering. So, for example, some of us cope with stress or painful emotions by we kind of dash out and think about the future or plan ahead. And this tendency becomes compulsive and persistent. We find it hard to stop, even when the planning and thinking are no longer effective. So with mindfulness, we can kind of rechannel our attention back to what is relevant. And we can sort of decouple our attention from these habitual reactions. And I know it sounds easier said than done. But right now, what's happening, I found this picture. I'm going to can I share it? Okay, let me just find it first. I found this sweet photograph, and it's just absolutely who I am. What I do with it? Hang on 1 second. My elephant gone. Wait a second. Elephant disappeared. I grab him again. Okay. So this here is generally how we meditate. You know, like the monkey mind is leading us wherever it wants to go. And we're kind of just like following behind. Then, in terms of the stages of meditation, this is kind of the same. This guy down here, this is the same. The monkey's off. And here we are, desperately trying to catch up. So it's almost like we haven't even left the gate right now. We're sort of trying the best we can. Eventually, and this thing is, this meditation takes effort. Unfortunately, it's not just sitting back and feeling good. We have to pay attention to ourselves. We also need to give ourselves the space and the freedom and the discipline to be able to sort of take some time out and take care of ourselves. So it's not this just kind of indulgent thing that we need to do when we're feeling stressed. We should be practicing this when we're not stressed. So it doesn't become something that, it becomes something that's automatic and natural. And that's why they talk about you needing it to be habitual. That familiarity is very, very important. So, does anybody have anything to say about that before we move on to our first meditation? Anything to share? Mary?
I just want to make sure I got the 4 points. You said there were 4 characteristics.
Yes.
I have without forgetfulness, dependent on familiarity. Then I have the third one as to prevent distraction with certainty, to be fully focused. But then what's the fourth one?
That's it. That's 4 things.
Oh, okay. Okay. I combined 3 and 4. Okay.
I mean, they all combined, but someone very kindly separated them out for us.
Got it.
But you know, I just think that advertising companies got this down, because you know how it is when you walk into a store, you remember that thing that you've become familiar with because you've seen it over and over again. And you don't get distracted really by anything else because you're so familiar with this one particular product, and you're quite certain about it as well. You know what it is. Maybe you've done some research on a particular kind of a toothpaste or something like that. And I look at this and I'm just like, wow, they understand all of this. So anyway, that's how we get kind of, I mean, if we had the same level of concentration in our meditation as we do on when we want to shopping for something, I think we would be amazing. Do you know what I mean? The amount of focus that we have when we're buying a product or looking for something on sale, or when you're, you know, madly in love with somebody, very, very focused on that person. You're very familiar with that person. You're very concentrated on that person. I mean, it's extraordinary. So we do have this capacity to meditate quite well. We just somehow don't, I don't know, either feel that we can, or we just somehow don't apply it. But we can apply it when we want to. Do you know what I mean? We just have to learn the benefits, or understand or appreciate the benefit of meditating. So let's just start with this first meditation. So we've got an hour left, I think, right? So we'll just settle into your meditation posture. So start, just be nice and relaxed, feet flat on the floor. Really, if you are, I mean, some of you may be sitting cross-legged, but I think most of us are sitting with our feet down. And just allow yourself to go inwards. If your knees are about a hip's width apart, if you are sitting with your feet down, really be right on top of your sits bones, shoulders are aligned with the hips. And imagine here, your spine is a string of pearls of light, and it stretches from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And you imagine there's someone above you just lengthening that spine of yours. With some space in between those vertebrae. Now I'll go through this meditation posture just simply because it's, well, it's part of the Meditation 101, and all of you've heard it before, but I think it's helpful to just be reminded. So there's a little bit of length in the back of the neck. So you just kind of tilt the head a little bit, but not too much so that the weight of the head pulls you into a kind of a hunch position and somehow constricts your breathing. Just a very gentle hinging of the back of the neck, the head from the top of the spine. And the eyes are down. If they were open, they'd be looking along the length of the nose. And the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. And I read something very interesting the other day. I was always under the impression that this was for the purpose of long-term meditators, preventing them from dribbling. I recently also found out that it was used for many years. You know, the first yogic traditions may be 5,000 years old. Buddhism is about 2,500 years old. The placement of the tongue on the soft palate of the mouth towards the nose was a way of helping to prevent disease. it actually forced people to breathe through their nose. So you may have heard this is kind of a big thing right now, is to nasal breathing, to try and not breathe through the mouth. But in fact, this nasal breathing has been talked about for centuries as a way of keeping people healthy, as a way of keeping people's teeth straight, bones strong, prevention of disease, because the nose is kind of like this organ that stops a lot of unhealthy bacteria from getting into the lungs, whereas there isn't such a facility in the mouth. So there's the little hairs, there's all this mucus, and there's a bunch of physiological structures within the nasal cavity that prevents you from getting sick. So this is kind of extraordinary. This is all in this book by James Nestor on breath. There's quite a bit of research in there. And he refers quite a bit to Tibetan Buddhism and the breathing techniques. So think about breathing through the nose when you're doing this. And keep in mind this tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth isn't just about stopping dribbling. Because you'll find as you experiment with that, you can't breathe through the mouth when the tongue is blocking that place. So the jaw is relaxed. And you can relax the jaw by just imagining the back of the tongue is relaxing. Relax the temples. Imagine you're relaxing your teeth even. And now take your attention to the crown of the head and just relax the scalp and the forehead, your eyes, your nose, the cheeks, the mouth. Imagine your face is relaxed as the face of a baby sleeping. Relax the back of the head, your neck and your shoulders. Allow your shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. Now bring your mind, your attention back to the breath. And just notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. Maybe you can feel the sensation of the air flowing in through those tiny little hairs in your nostrils. It's a little bit cooler as you breathe in than when you exhale. And the sensation of the inhale and the exhale can also be felt in the belly. If you've got a belt on or something, you can feel the rising and the falling of the belly, or the rising and the falling of the chest. And remember to keep yourself nicely aligned. Try not to allow your shoulders to drop down, your head to drop down. Hands can be just comfortably resting in your lap at this point. So what we're doing with this particular exercise is an exercise of mindfulness of the body. And we start with the body just simply because we feel that first. So we're trying to invoke the power of our physical touch to help us become aware of the physical sensations at the different parts of our body. So we'll gently place our hands on a part of the body, say the shoulder, and immediately you'll notice you're going to become aware of the sense of touch between the hand and the body, as well as any other sensations there. So this is a really simple way to introduce mindfulness and allow ourselves to get this experience of being mindfully aware and in touch directly with our bodily sensations. So if you're wearing physical glasses, You can take them off for this exercise so they won't be in the way. So try not to get into massaging or manipulating the body with your hands. So we're going to pause at each part of the body for 3 to 5 breaths. I think maybe 5 breaths. And simply use the sense of touch to awaken our awareness of the subtle sensations in our body. So we're going to start at the crown and gently press, just rest one hand on the toppermost part of our body. So just allow the sense of touch to draw your attention there, noticing any sensations while we pause here for about 5 breaths. Make them slow breaths. So perhaps you can count your inhale and your exhale. You could start with 4. Pause at the top of the breath and then exhale for 4. Through the nose. And now I want you to notice the weight of the hand on your head, the sensation on the crown of your head. And then also notice the sensation of the crown of your head in the palm of your hand, your hair, and the warmth. Maybe you feel some energy, chi. Take a nice deep breath and very gently remove the hand slowly. Just allow the hand to come away and then place it in your lap. Take a breath. Now place both hands very gently on the face and notice the sensations here. Can you feel any tension in the facial muscles? And if you do, can you relax that tension? So again, 5 breaths. Now again, before we remove our hands, feel the sensation of the skin and your face in the palm of your hand. And then also feel the palm of your hand on your face. Now you can just take the hands away and feel. Now very gently rest your hands on your neck. So whatever works for you, if you have wrist issues, you might just want to feel the front of the neck, maybe put one hand on the front, one hand on the back. And again, let's just breathe. 5 breaths. Now just feel the sensation of your hands, either on the front of the neck, back of the neck, or at the sides of the neck, wherever you have them. Just feel the palms of your hands on your neck. And then feel your neck in the palm of your hands. This is a very subtle difference, shift in perspective. Remove the hands, place them in the lap, and just breathe and feel. Now place your left hand on your right shoulder and the right hand okay, let's do this first. Left hand on our right shoulder, and then rest the right hand and arm in your lap or on your desk or whatever you have, right thigh. How is your shoulder feeling today? So breathe in. Just notice if there's any tension there. Perhaps you can release it. Now move your hand down to your right elbow and just very gently holding onto it with your left hand. And breathe. Now move your hand to the right wrist. And breathe. Just notice the sensations. Place one hand on top of the other. And sense the warmth and touch between the hands. And again, just notice the sensation of the skin of the top of the hand, the skin of the palm, the warmth between them. Now place the right hand on the left shoulder. Feel the sensations there. And breathe. Is there any tension in the shoulder? Can you release it? Just notice the sensation of the weight and the warmth of the hand on the shoulder, your clothes, and notice the sensation of your clothes in the palm of your hand. Move your hand down to your elbow and just rest it gently there. Maybe your elbow is a little cooler than your shoulder. And breathe. Again, feel the skin of your elbow in the palm of your hand and the weight and warmth of the palm of your hand on your elbow. And move the hand down to the wrist. Breathe. Again, noticing the sensation of the skin of the wrist, the bones in the palm of your hand. And then it's the sensation of the weight and the warmth of the palm of the hand on the wrist. And then just very gently move the palm of the right hand on top of the back of the left. And rest it there and breathe. Noticing the sensation of the weight of the and warmth of the palm of the hand on the back of the hand, the sensation of the skin, the bones of the back of the hand, and the palm of the right hand. Now come back to our chest and place both hands over our heart chakra. What can we sense here? Can we feel the beating of our heart or the rhythm of our breath along with other sensations? Now move your hands down to your belly. Just rest them here. What can you feel? Just rest your hands. You can feel your bony points of the pelvis. That's uncomfortable for your wrists or your shoulders. You can also just rest your hands on the top of your quads, top of your thighs. Again, notice what you feel there and breathe. Relax your shoulders. They've crept up. Now just move your hands to your knees and rest them there. And just attend to the attention to the sensations at the knee. And breathe. Nice slow inhale and exhale. And now send your attention down towards your feet. You can leave your hands on your knees. And just feel the sensations on the soles of the feet, the outside of the foot, the outside of the sole of the foot, the heel, the big toe mound, the little toe mound, and all your little toe pads. And the top of the feet, the sensation of if you're wearing socks or shoes, the sensation of the material on the top of the feet. If this is uncomfortable for you, you may sit back and just rest your hands on your thighs again. And can you rest both legs on the ground and release their weight into gravity? Feel the weight of the ankles, the weight of the legs into the ankles, the weight of the legs into the feet, the weight of the sits bones into your chair. And keep lengthening. Nothing forced. Relax. You can relax. And come back slowly. You don't have to come back right away. Take your time. Somebody has a friend. See, that's the best thing for cats, is somebody who's going to sit still for quite some time. So how was that for everyone? one of the things that we also did during that meditation is we slowed our breathing down. If you were able to do 4-count inhale and 4-count exhale, and I did 5 breaths per body part, we slowed our breathing down to about 5-6 breaths per minute. So that actually apparently helps to relax the body. So anything that happened that anybody wants to share?
I kept losing, like, you changed and I didn't know you changed. I was gone. You know, I mean,
That's great. Because I think also I was actually remembering some of the yoga nidras use meditation very similar to this to put people to sleep. So this isn't quite a yoga nidra, and the intention isn't to put you to sleep, but it definitely sounds like it relaxed you. So that's good. The thing we're trying to do. Oh yeah.
No, I was going to mention that the biggest problem I had was differentiating. I could easily feel the touch of my hand wherever I put it. Like I could very rarely feel
the other way around.
Yeah, the other way around was so difficult.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's like we don't quite realize when somebody touches us, we feel the weight of their hand on us, the warmth of their hand, right? But we don't think about what it is they're feeling. So here we get an opportunity to sort of experience that, but it's an interesting, well, in a way, it kind of keeps you engaged as well. It does keep you focused because you can't be totally distracted when you've got your, I also find this meditation quite grounding. So, okay, that's interesting. Mary, sorry. You were going to say something, Phyllis? You're muted, by the way. You guys can unmute yourselves while we're chatting.
I guess I missed that part of each.
Oh, you didn't hear that?
No.
You were really gone.
I was. Gone.
Well, maybe you've had a really good meditation, and I'm very happy for that.
Yeah.
You might have needed some relaxation.
I'm very tired.
There you go.
So
Mary, sorry, go on.
Can you tell me, so we were supposed to like we had our hand on our head, we felt it in the palm, and then we were supposed to feel our head, feel the palm?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I like
maybe
it.
we can do it again in one of our morning meditations.
Okay.
When we did this quite a few months ago, and Hin was still well enough to join, and she said she found it very comforting to do that because she's in a lot of physical pain. So it was helpful for her. Oh, I wish she could be here today. Anyway, so Mary, did you have something you wanted to share?
Well, I found for me it was really, really nurturing, and I just felt like it was this huge amount of self-care, and I could definitely feel the heat and the energy wherever my hand went. And I had a really tough day today with my mom, and so it just felt, it kind of goes back to what you said. The mindfulness was about making this habitual as a routine for ourselves. I don't know.
That's good, Mary. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. And I think particularly in your situation right now, when you're the main caregiver for your mother, and I do know as people get older, it gets a little bit more difficult. The way they communicate changes, and things can become very confusing while they're still trying to hang on to their old persona, but the brain is going somewhere else. And it's very, very, it's quite difficult. I understand. And one of the things that might be helpful for all of us actually is when you wake up in the morning, just do this exercise for 5 minutes. I mean, we took a good half hour to do it. I wanted to do it slowly because I wanted you to experience it. But you could do this, you could do it very briefly. You don't have to do it for half an hour. You could, if all you have is 5 minutes. And one of the things that, they recommend is that and I found extremely beneficial when I had my little spot outside while it was still warm enough to sit out there with the birds in the morning. It was very beneficial for me to have this habit to get up, to get outside, but here now to get up, to find a particular place that you sit in, that's your spot. And, if you have to make a cup of tea first, you have your routine, and then you sit down and you carve out 5 or 10 minutes for yourself, just for yourself. And make sure you do it early enough so that before you start looking at your emails, before you start picking up messages from your phone, because the minds immediately go, oh, that's going to be more important. So it's best just to kind of give yourself a little bit of time to do this meditation, because our minds are so distracted. Sitting still and breathing might not work. And so if sitting still and breathing isn't working for you, you can sit still and just place your hands on your body and become aware of the sensations. The next meditation we're going to do is a bit more difficult because we're going to do that same thing mentally. But there's also a little bit more to talk about in this first session. I just want to check in with Jay and Sheil. This is not long enough, an hour and a half.
No, I agree with you on that. Okay, so for me, I guess the thing that comes up, and Mary alluded to it also, is like the nurturing aspect of the body. I find that I am, because I'm aware of age, is how grateful I am my body still functions as well as it does.
Yeah.
And so this kind of like being aware of it, nurturing it, when it isn't going 100%, I kind of talk to it kindly, say, don't worry about it, things will shift. So yeah, it's good for body awareness. Thank you.
That's a really good lesson for all of us, actually, Jay, because I think when things stop working, a lot of us feel maybe betrayed by the body, and rather than being kind to ourselves about what's going on with our body, we tend to try and fight it. So I think this idea of being relaxed and grateful and knowing that it will change, I think that's an excellent awareness to have. So thank you for that.
The other little tweak on it is I kind of talk to it about, well, sweetheart, you'll adjust, you can't.
Well,
but an adjustment will happen and you'll go on, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's very sweet. It's almost like you're talking to little Jay there.
Yeah.
And I think also too, that if when I was 7 years old, I got out of bed with the body I have now, with nothing in between, I think I would have been quite scared. Do you know what I mean? If like when you're 7, and then all of a sudden now I'm 65, and if I had the same body at 7 that I have at 65, I think I would be a little bit, if I'd kind of made that jump from 7 years old and 7 years old in 1 month, and then all of a sudden during that month I became like I am now, I think it would be shocking. So just as well it's happening slowly is all I'm saying.
I agree.
Anyway, Sheil, did you have anything to add before we do our next meditation? It's going to have to be a bit briefer.
No, nothing to add.
Okay. So we're also going to try and do some stabilization meditation in order to develop meditative concentration and analytical meditation for developing discerning wisdom. And this is what separates, I think, the FPMT or the Gelug tradition of mindfulness meditation from, what you see out there in the world, in the general commercial meditation world. And then also in the Theravada tradition, it's basically their mindfulness meditation is based on feeling sensations as well, although they do ask you to do 4 days of concentration on the breath, but it's still basic. You're basing your concentration on the sensations at the base of the nose. So in stabilization meditation, we stabilize our attention on an object of meditation through calming the dysfunctional states of the body and mind that interfere with the process of settling down and keeps our body tense and our mind agitated. So developing mindfulness is a key element in the process of helping to sustain the connection between our attention and the object of meditation, and it helps to prevent distraction. So eventually we develop a state of meditative absorption known as calm abiding, and this is a state of body and mind that has calmed all the dysfunctionalities such as unhelpful physical tension and mental agitation, so that our body and mind can abide steadily and blissfully in meditation with attention focusing undistractedly on its object of meditation. And this is a state of deep concentration. And that is pretty much the final stage in that diagram that I showed you. So many of us we benefit enormously to begin our mindfulness journey through this type of stabilization meditation. And that's exactly where they do start in the Theravada tradition. That to stabilize the mind, and it's 4 days of basically 9 hours a day of practicing this kind of meditation. Even when our concentration is weak and the hindrances are strong during the initial phase of practice, training in mindfulness helps to counteract this kind of unnecessary tension and agitation in the body and the mind that hinder us from settling down. And, tension and agitation, and we have these kind of chronic reactive patterns to stressful situations. And each person's stressor is going to be different to another person's stressor. So it also, trying to get this idea of focus and concentration and calm abiding helps us to have a more harmonious and functionality between the body and the mind, and this will contribute towards better physical and mental health. So when we apply mindfulness to our whole body by attending to the simple bodily sensations at different parts of the body, this can facilitate the healing of a connection between mind and body and promote the activation of our parasympathetic nervous system that helps us to unwind and release the different stress responses. So I think, Phyllis, your parasympathetic nervous system just kind of went completely turned on when we started doing that other meditation, which I'm really happy to hear. Okay, so let's just do the body scan meditation. We've got 20 minutes. So just settle back into your meditation posture. So we want to return our attention to be in touch with our own body, sensing the simple bodily sensations of the different parts of the body. And by coming in touch with our body with mindful attention, we are facilitating the body and subsequently the mind to shift and release unnecessary tensions and mental agitation. And given time, we can help the body and mind settle into a more calm and meditative state. As usual, we do these meditations, for the benefit of others. By healing ourselves, we're going to be in a better position to help others. So again, start at the crown. And notice the sensations of the topmost part of the body. Perhaps you notice a little tingling there. Perhaps you can feel some pulsing, maybe warmth or coolness, or maybe nothing at all. And that is also perfectly fine. And just breathe. Maybe you can remember the weight of the hand on your head. Now move down to your face and notice the sensations there. Just release facial muscles. Release the skin that's covering the skull. The back of the head, and the face, the eyes, the temples, the nose, the mouth, the jaw. Can you gently relax those muscles and let in a different feeling, one of softness and ease and comfort coming to your face? And invite your attention to come back to your body, to the neck and the throat. And just notice the sensations there. Can you release any tension in your throat and your neck? And move down to your shoulders. How are your shoulders feeling now? Can you release any tension there? Maybe you can also notice tension or feelings elsewhere, but just simply acknowledge them for the time being. Don't need to change immediately necessarily. Just be aware. And now allow your attention to flow down both arms at the same time. And just notice the simple sensations at your upper arms and both of your elbows. And the forearms. And your hands. And the sensations at the palms, the back of the hands, in your fingers. And having activated all of these sensations into awareness, can you rest both arms and hands, perhaps on your thighs, and just release their weight to gravity? Just breathe. Now bring your awareness back to your heart chakra, your heart center. Can you feel the breath along with any other sensations? And as you exhale, you can take this opportunity to release. Just allow anything that isn't helpful, it's not wanted, or no longer serves you. Just allow that to flow away with the out breath. Bring your mind back to your body and allow your attention to go deeper and lower till we arrive at our belly. And just rest your attention at the level of our navel within the body and sense the sensations here. We'll go around to the back of the pelvis, your sacrum, the tip of the tail, the coccyx. Feel the sits bones, that whole pelvic region. So much of our life comes from here. And what sensations can you feel? Just notice what's there. Now allow your attention to flow down both legs at the same time. And just notice the sensations at your hip joints, the quads, thighs, knees, down to your calves, around the front of the lower part of the leg, and arrive at your feet. And just sense the sensations at the soles of the feet, the top of the feet, and in the toes, maybe even in between your toes. And you allow both your legs to rest and release their weight to gravity. And we can rest our body in this posture and allow ourselves to settle down and be comfortable here. Rest your attention here with your body and your breath. Each time we notice ourselves breathing out, we can use it as an opportunity to deepen the sense of release, releasing anything unhelpful, unwanted, anything that no longer serves you. release ourselves deeper into here and now, into our meditation. If everyone just relax. We have, we lost Sheil. Okay. We have a few minutes before the end of the session. Does anybody have anything they want to share about that meditation? It all seemed a little bit zoned out. Yeah, they talk about being yoga drunk or yoga stoned or yoga, anyway, whatever. We're meditation stoned.
So
Phyllis, you had something to say?
I didn't pass out this time. Do you know, I mean, I was there, I could hear you, and I had to take a bathroom break at the beginning, but then when I came back and sat down, I could hear you, and I could really feel, what you were asking. And I also want to say that I think your familiar voice, for the first meditation, I just dropped right into what I hear. I associate you with relaxation. How's that?
Oh, that's amazing. So what I think is wonderful about that is that you had an experience of complete relaxation. So really, honestly, sounds like it's something you really needed today.
I really did.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great.
Thank you.
I'm happy
So
to
thank
hear
you.
that.
But
My pleasure.
I didn't think it was a bad thing that I would sit down and pass out.
No, I
5
think
minutes.
it's a good
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And no, my pleasure. So I think between now and next week, try practicing those. It doesn't even have to be for very long. Just practice, first of all, the physical touch and then also the mentally going through the body, and see how that feels for you. And just maybe carve out five minutes in the morning and try and do that. Mary, particularly, I think in your situation as well, sounds like you need a lot of self-nurturing and self-care. And right, be helpful.
Yeah, because when I was in New Mexico, well, I lived alone and I had my
Right. And you had your dog.
road out in the country, and now I'm in the city, concrete, and it's a whole different people, family. So, I just need to it's a different routine.
Will you be going back to New Mexico? You don't know. Wow. Okay. So there's no end in sight. Wow. You're amazing. That's amazing. It's quite a change. Yeah. I mean, we do have extraordinary capacity to be able to adjust to certain situations, but you are giving a lot to your family. It's incredible. So well done, Mary. Okay. And think things could change tomorrow. So, I remember when I first got to America, of course, San Francisco was very dirty at the time when I first arrived. I didn't like it there at all because, Australia's pristine. And Venerable Rabini used to say, plan like an army sergeant and know that it could change tomorrow. And that was really my first lesson in impermanence from a Buddhist teacher. I'd never really thought about it before, but it is extraordinary how things happen. Yeah. Jay, before we go, do you have anything you want to share?
Okay. Again, because I am studying aging within myself, the other comment I wanted to make was I definitely, oh my God, I'm horrible. I can't remember if I've told people stories, right? So that part of my brain, I don't know who I've told what to. That part of my brain is kaput. But the thing that is the advantage that I have is I do have calmness of soul that I've never had. It's a detachment, and I identify it as being, I don't really have the same amount of desires that I had before. And that to me is, what can I say, a consoling thing. Yes, I lose certain aspects, but there are other things that I'm gaining. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that apropos of our earlier conversation.
I think that's really interesting because one of my very dear friends who's a nun at Kopan, and she's been quite open, but I won't say who it is, but some of you may know. But her memories got quite bad. And when I was there last time, she was telling me, I can't really remember things anymore. And sometimes we would be walking from the dining room to the coffee shop and she would just grab my arm and she goes, well, what are we doing? And I'd be like, oh, it's after lunch. We're going to get, oh, that's right. And that had been happening when I was there before, because last time I was there was 2019 and I went back last year with Venerable Rabina. And so there was considerable decline. But what I did notice was like what you're saying, Jay, a extraordinary humility and an acceptance of her situation and an absolute beauty. I always knew who this person was because she's so generous and so kind and takes care of everybody. But that became the thing that was in the forefront. But also she could be kind of harsh and pushy and all these kind of aspects. And this friend of mine said to me when I got back and I was telling her about it, she said, sort of more of who she really is coming forward. And it was such a beautiful thing to know because I've such fondness for this person because she was actually instrumental in me learning how to, putting me on this path of teaching meditation to people. As I said, I have no idea why I was the one to be asked to do that because I'm really not very good at it. But I kind of feel exactly what you were saying. This person, her heart is showing. All the other stuff is dropping away.
Yeah.
So anyway, and that's, anyway. So I have to go because I've got a meditation in half an hour. So thank you for hosting. Let's just dedicate all the merit that we've created today, these 2 meditations and a little bit of blah, blah, and to the benefit of all those people in our life and to all sentient beings and to ourselves as we move along this path. And like I said, consistency, familiarity, that's how we move forward. And that's why our Vajrasattva group is creating so much benefit for each person is because of the consistency and the familiarity there. Because we do the same thing every night. It's amazing, isn't it? Okay, everyone. Lovely to work with you. Thank you so much. I hope we can get some more people here next week. Stephanie said she couldn't come. She was teaching. I think it's a bit of an awkward time actually for people. It's dinner time, right? Oh well. See you guys soon. Okay, bye. Thank you.